kids. Good for missions?
I had a case of a young, recently married couple serving on the mission field in a Muslim country. The husband was adamantly against having children because he believed that children would only be a hindrance to their mission work. His fears seem reasonable. Children take up a lot of time and energy to raise that could otherwise be spent fully devoted to doing ministry. Children add a great deal of additional financial support to cover their food, medical, and other life needs. How to educate the children can be quite the challenge living abroad. When a move has to be made, much care has to be taken to protect the emotional well-being of the child. When serving in a country hostile to the Christian faith or one in the midst of political turmoil, children can add to the stress of the situation out of further concern for their safety. Small children can be more susceptible to environmental issues, leading to frequent ailments. These are legitimate concerns that need to each be handled prayerfully. For starters, let's consider first the situation of the young couple living in the Islamic context. Reflect on the predominant Muslim culture for a moment regarding family. One finds a great love and admiration for the family unit, and children are of great importance in Islamic life. For this couple to remain married without kids may prove to be an obstacle to their outreach, as locals wonder why they do not want children to carry on the family name or ensure caretakers for when they are aged. This same mindset goes for most, if not all, Middle Eastern and Asian cultures. Beyond the cultural level is the practical one. When a couple add children to the mix, ministry does morph into something else, and the daily schedule looks very different. But that's not a negative thing. Instead, parents will find that missionary kids, or MKs, provide new opportunities for outreach and new encounters with locals to start conversations and make connections. I remember another man retelling at a conference how his son confronted him for spending so much time on the mission field away from the family. In response, the father quoted Matthew 19 and Jesus' words about leaving family to serve him. He saw his son as misguided and not kingdom-focused. That whole situation was unnecessary and inappropriate. The man could have found ways to include his family in the mission work. His son would likely be pro-missions rather than viewing it as something else in life that steals time away from his dad. Rather than viewing children as a barrier to work around, missionary parents should seek to find ways to minister together with and through their children. One needs to consider how the household can work toward a kingdom impact. The host culture needs to see a Christian model for marriage when abusive and broken relationships abound. The locals are struggling with how to parent their children well and are eager to find ways to raise kids to become upstanding citizens. Parents may be stopped on the street by a stranger to get a glimpse of the foreign baby. Neighboring parents might ask for a play date to allow their kids to mingle with the foreign kids and broaden their cultural horizons. Well-behaved MKs will act as incarnational testimonies to righteous living in Christ and will receive the locals' admiration. Children are a far cry from an impediment to global missions, and are instead a missional shift, providing even more avenues to access the host culture than a missionary couple longs to reach with the gospel.